Hi, this is your math coach, Howie Tutman, presenting What Math Should My First Grader Know? I've recorded videos in the four domains or groupings of standards in math for first grade. This video is the second of 5 videos in the measurement and data grouping. The video is about expressing the length of an object as a whole number of lengths. If you have any questions or comments, please email me at hrtutman@gmail.com. The complete text of the standard that this video is based upon follows at the end of the video. This next standard wants our first graders to be able to express the length of an object, for instance, the length of this gray bar, as a whole number of unit lengths. So by laying multiple copies of a shorter object, let's say this red bar, end to end, we'll be able to find the number of length units. So let's start lining up this red bar and put it right to the end, and we'll create multiple copies. And let me just point out, for starters, it's probably best to pick an object of a length that the unit lengths you're using matches up equally, so that there'll be a whole number of unit lengths that will be measuring this one object. So what we've found after we've lined up these red bars is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This gray bar is 6 red unit lengths. Now, one thing we want to make sure the first graders understand is that there's no gap when we've measured this with our red unit. So if I pulled one unit out here, let's erase it, and first grader measured like this, we would want them to understand that when they're doing their measurement, there should be no gaps between these red bars. And the other thing that we'd want to make sure that the students understand is that there's no overlaps, because if we have overlaps, what we might find is that students will do something like this, and then they go to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they have an extra unit length. So the two vocabulary words that we'd want to make sure the student takes away from this lesson would be that there's no gaps, in other words, no spaces, and there's no overlaps. One unit doesn't go on top of the other unit. Another takeaway that students should have in this standard is that they should be aware of the length of the unit that is used. So for instance, when we measured this gray rod with the red rods, we found it was 6 red units long. But if we were to measure the gray unit with the green rods, we would find that it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 units long. Some first graders may think, well, since there's 6 red units versus 4 of the green units, if they were measuring these separately, they would feel that the unit that they measured with the red rods is longer. But we need them to make sure to understand that these units are different sizes, and as long as there's no gaps or overlaps. And the other thing I'll point out, as long as the measurement is going from one endpoint to the other endpoint, that both of these result in the same measurement. It would be, for instance, if there was a pencil that was being measured and we used small paper clips and large paper clips, one pencil could measure 6 small paper clips long or 4 large paper clips long, but in either case, the pencil would be the same size. If you're interested, here is the complete standard that this video expressing the length of an object as a whole number of lengths is based upon. Express the length of an object as a whole number of length units by laying multiple copies of a shorter object, the length unit, end to end. Understand that the length measurement of an object is the number of same size length units that span it with no gaps or overlaps. Limit to contexts where the object being measured is spanned by a whole number of length units with no gaps or overlaps.